Today I'm going to briefly break down another valuable piece of modern Hawaiian history and culture. I met a girl once, born and raised here in Hawaii, never had a spam musubi. Felt a lot of feelings about that because I'm passionate about this. Anyways, contrary to popular belief, spam musubi was not invented in Hawaii. I grew up thinking this beautiful baby was born on the Hawaiian sugar plantations. But according to my studies, more sources point to the idea that they instead originated in the Japanese internment camps in the States during World War II. What's a Japanese internment camp? That's a good question. Let me just put it this way if you don't know much about World War II. Japan and America had beef. They bombed Pearl Harbor, we took out 2 major cities. It's justice. You know when somebody gets stung by a bee and then they're afraid of all bees? Like, oh no, bees, scary, no. That's how Americans saw Japanese people after Pearl Harbor. Oh no, Japanese, put them away in the same place. So Japanese Americans all over the States were forced out of their homes into these internment camps together so that they could be monitored in case Satoru the fabric guy was actually a Japanese spy plotting against America with his uncle in Japan. On a side note, spam was super popular during and after World War II because it was cheap and easy to package, produce, and purchase. The Japanese being locked up in these camps probably didn't have access to fresh fish for the sushi, but they had spam. It's like when you run out of smooth peanut butter, so you have to use the chunky. Anyways, with the sources I sifted through, exactly how musubi got to Hawaii is unclear. But this is my assumption as to how it played out. Another fact of the matter is Hawaiians loved spam. Spam hit our shores and we mopped. Some major sugar plants in Hawaii were still up and running when the war ended. I think a handful of those Japanese American citizens that were locked up in the camps left the States to work on the plants. They probably showed up and saw how nuts Hawaiians were about spam and were like, oh, you like that? Watch this. We went ballistic and the rest is history. There is a claim that spam musubi was actually invented by a Kauai drugstore owner in the 1980s. But I spoke to a few Hilo OGs who were bringing spam musubi to school for lunch in the 70s. Anyway, spam musubi has a pretty complex history for such a simple snack. So the next time you eat a spam musubi, think about its history and brag to your friends that you know more about it than they do. Or don't. I'm probably never going to think about any of this ever again until somebody brings it up. I just did this because I had to make a video this week and I was hungry. Oh no, Japanese,